how to run a marathon, but it has some truth in it. So marketing and especially sales part of it, business development, like creating your own company and growing it is really a marathon, and you have to sort of invest a lot in it. Sometimes if a company is small, you don't need to have a business development team. So a CEO, a CDO can do that thing for you. But if it's, for example, something that's bigger than 50 people, if we want to grow, if we want to be bigger than that, we do definitely need a business development story. Not a story, but a team. So let's start with what is business development, why we do really need it. So business development is your regular way of growing your company. So there are three classical links to your business development team. So it's an engagement manager or a salesperson, if it's if you're acquainted with this word more. Then there's a lead generator or a pre-sales person, as a person that sort of heats up and searches people, because a salesperson has to be more free to do the closing stuff in the company. And there's your marketing guy doing the storytelling behind the scenes and basically doing the whole support of your business development efforts. So here we have those three little angels working the business development magic here. So here's Iryna leading the team, just going into the fight for the leads, and well, the two little elves behind is Ilona and me. I'm shouting like, hey, yay, yes, we can do it. So basically, when you grow the company, there are more and more difficulties in business development, because there's a sales team and a marketing, and they don't really understand that there is no such thing as sales and marketing that is not united. And a lot of salespeople, they decide they don't really need marketing. It is something that those collaterals, they are not really relevant. They can do like business privately from hand to hand, having some personal relations. They even try to, I've been working, one of my previous jobs was at SoftServe, and these people were trying to scheme marketing team, like getting the leads and saying, oh, I've lost it, oh, that's such a pity, I could, and then he closed the same person, he just said, oh, he was a guy that is my acquaintance from like childhood, from the school, and he closed it on his own terms, didn't need to like pay 10 or 50%, 15%. Royalty to the marketing team. So, and these people sort of, there's like salespeople, like they don't really into lead generation and bringing the results. They sort of are paid on the basis of distance, how many kilometers they go, and they just say sorry at the end of like half a year or a year. And they don't really want to cooperate with marketing. And to be honest, a lot of marketers tend to be useless. There is that. So there are conflicts on both sides, and we have a very healthy situation here. I hope when we grow, it gets the same and will be naturally growing. So sorry, I'll do this. And then, what is marketing? Marketing is basically a communication style. So there are different communication styles. There's also advertisement, propaganda, and public relations. So these two, like advertisement and propaganda, they are very ancient. So advertisement you can find like in Egypt, like ancient tablets saying, I have a card with a papyrus, and it's the best papyrus in the whole Egypt. That's basically the advertisement. And propaganda is the same thing, but from the political point of view. So, for example, there's a well-known thing that every image of Alexander the Great could have been propaganda. So they are not the true images. They were created in order to scare everyone into submission, and a lot of cities just, no, we're not going to do that, open the gates, and so on and so forth. So these two are very ancient. Then we have marketing, public relations. These are the new ones, and the public relations, it basically came from propaganda. The first book on public relations was called On Propaganda. Edward Bernays, a well-known PR guy who brought this part of communication to the world. So basically they understood that it's hard to propagandize. Propaganda is very intrusive, and it's cramming the information, and you have to be softer and sort of find easier way into the minds of people. So marketing came up, the modern marketing came up a little bit even, it's in 50s and 60s came up the modern marketing, and it's partly advertisement and partly public relations. And it's going away from advertising because it's buy. It's very annoying. It doesn't do anything good. So there's a little joke. It's an old joke that everyone knows. The oldest joke in the business. It's a PR joke. So if you're trying to have a date, get a date, and you're a marketer, you go just directly and you ask for a date. You say, hey, we're kinetics, we're looking for someone for a date, and that's it. You're just honestly hoping for a good result. Then there's your advertisement guy. He's asking someone, a friend, to help him. But it's already not that efficient, not that effective, because a girl is thinking, well, maybe he's not that socially, maybe he's awkward, he doesn't have the confidence to do that, and marketing at this point is a little bit better. And that's your propaganda. This is the egotistic guy just stands at the chair with a megaphone he carries out around with him, just shout at everyone, doesn't matter whether a girl or a man, he says he's the best seller ever. And this is ineffective, this is rude, and this is at every point. So, and that's public relations, and this is where it gets fun, and where this would be nice, thank you. Where a girl comes to you and she says that she has heard that you're a great lover. So this means that this whole brand works for you, that they've heard somewhere. You don't have to go directly. You don't have to persuade anyone in anything. So marketing does go directly, but at the end of the day, the modern version of marketing, they want this public relations stuff. This is the best one. So what is so special about marketing also? It's also about the storytelling. So PR is about storytelling, but unlike the PR, it's also partly, it's not only a communication style, it's also a science, so you can measure it. Everything is measurable, you can get KPIs, you can understand this is good, we can spend money on this is not that good, this is waste of money. So this is not something blah, 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 it's public relations with numbers, basically. So, and no selling. The best way, the most the commonest, one of the commonest trends here is not trying to be advertisement-like. So this is basically what we are going on. Just telling stories, true stories. By the way, in marketing, we never lie, because we overestimate our ability to lie. We think that we are great liars. But everyone knows that you're lying. But even if you got away with a lie, if you are red-handed with a lie, it's such a big brand hit, so no one will believe you. At least a person won't believe you ever again, and everyone that is in 10-mile radius that he will tell immediately about this company will lose trust you. So never lie. In marketing. So then there's, except telling a good story, you have to know who you are telling the story. So you have to pick and choose who are ready to talk to you and who are you ready to talk with. So yeah, these are our little personas. The classic version is target audience. So target audience is very vague, the demographics, where they sort of like to hang out, but it's not really effective. So what is effective nowadays? And the most tool is the personas. Personas are as precise as it gets. So you never say, for example, that startup Steve is somewhere between 30 and 40 years old. You never do that. Because it is as vague as it gets. You will never sell anything one. You have to know, for example, as precise as you can get. For example, Success Simon and Decision Dave are basically the same persona for us. This is a small business owner that most probably is a liberal, maybe a Republican, not that sure about his political stuff, but he's sort of a wholesome guy, believes in his business and treats his business as a family. So this business is not that big, so he has an ability to control everything. And we know that he's 32, so we've decided he's 32. Maybe some of them will be like 30, 35, doesn't really matter. But as precise as you should be as precise as you can. Because you can like decide, maybe he's like 32, maybe he has a midlife crisis, maybe he bought a bike, he has a lot of spare money, he's ready to invest in something like in software development, and you're already painting the person that is already ready to jump into the project. So these are our four personas. The first one is the smallest, the startup Steve. The two second, the Success Simon and Decision Dave are small business, and Enterprise Eric is the mid-size enterprise, and he's basically not the owner because the three first of them are owners, and this one is the product owner. So it's a managerial type of guy. They are in our strategy. There is a part called marketing strategy. You can go in, just check out all the information that we decide is relevant. You can even like advise any changes to it if you felt that the persona doesn't reflect the person that we're talking about. So yeah, that's that. And except having personas, we need to understand that they are not always ready to buy. So there are different stages of your persona, and at every stage, like you're approaching to them with some software development project. They don't know what software development is, what is kinetics, where is Ukraine, what is happening, who is stalking them on social media. And you should understand that you came probably with the message that is on the consideration part or conversion, and you should go with the awareness part. Like, hey, it's kinetics, it has like history of 5 years, software development is blah blah blah, this and that. So basically 5 stages. There are different versions of this funnel. So awareness, just bringing kinetics closer to them, make them interested in software development, then make them consider, because there's a lot of different opportunities, like not buying into software development, buying already created software. Why not?
Investing in real estate.
Yes, investment in real estate, like investing in yourself. There are different possibilities, and we have to like prove our value and prove why we can provide it to them. Then the conversion part, so that's where Iryna jumps in, our sales and marketing collateral jumps in, and the final one, this one, yes, this one, the loyalty one is where the whole company jumps in. So the whole field, so we've promised something, we've promised a good code, the good experience of project development, software development, and project experience. So basically, this is the stage where he considers whether he will come back to the conversion part. So in a lot of marketing versions, this doesn't look like a funnel, it looks like a flywheel. So we just brought him on awareness, he came to, again, loyalty, and again into another project. So it doesn't have to end with one project at any point. So, okay, this is the final one, I promise. I decided that marketing is very vague. It has a lot of things in it. So, for example, you market yogurt in one way, you market oil and gas in another way, and a totally other way you market software development. So these are our 5 places that we find and we target and we hunt leads. So the first one is outsourcing marketplaces. These can be Clutch.co, Behance, so on and so forth. These are like very nice and very smart websites that gave us opportunity to compete with each other and show that we are ready to get the lead and own our reputation and everything else. So outsourcing marketplaces are basically filled with leads, and we have to extract them from these websites. So the second way is publications. There's a lot of special publications like, are we good? Time? Yeah. Okay. So there are a special publication like technical publication. This could be like Free Code Camp, like TechCrunch, so on and so forth. Something for the developer, something for the tech guy. But the publication should, by the way, reflect the persona that you are talking. Because if we're trying to get the small business, he's not on TechCrunch, he doesn't read the software development news, he doesn't even probably know what's that, he just magic code, same words to him. So he's most probably, for example, we're going into e-learningindustry.com. This is a good publication for everyone that is small business and is in the e-learning business. So we have to find these little publications, and these are little Klondikes for the leads. And the way you stand out here, not by your reputation, not by bringing feedbacks, because the outsourcing marketplaces, they want to see our feedbacks. They want to get the happy customers saying that we're like top of the game, we're doing our best, we're proving that we're deserving another project. So the publications and this third one, SEO, they work on content. So quality content is everything here. So content is the king, basically, of this game. So Google, after its 2 updates, the Penguin updates and the Panda updates, it says basically no cheating, no loopholes. They closed already all of them. So these updates basically say that the best content wins, not the best, only the best content, but the one that can engage you and you want to click to it, and it is sort of a booster, a reputation booster for the SEO part of it. So the fourth one is social media. The social media for us is only Twitter and only LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very, very slow. People are not ready to consume marketing materials at this platform. So we try to mishmash it with Twitter and bring this sort of hyperactivity to LinkedIn and bring more leads out of it in this way. And also email, and the final one, email is very spammy at this point, so there are 2 ways to deal with email. So you either do email brilliantly and you're it's top notch, or you just get out of it, because it shows that a lot of people understand that they either psychologically unsubscribe from it, or even they can consider something that is already whitelisted in their spam folder, but they are not interested, as de facto spam. They don't show you in spam, but in their mind you are spamming them because you're not reading. And one great company, HubSpot, it has a wonderful email campaign. Says, I've noticed you don't read us. Why? We don't like that. We're unsubscribing you. It's not you are unsubscribing for us, we are unsubscribing you. You should deserve our own content. And this is a great way and great approach to this part of marketing. So I think that's enough for me. I'm already rambling almost half an hour, so I'm bringing it to Ilona.
That picture show?
Oh, by the way, questions, and then I'm sorry for. Any questions for the marketing part?
Can you switch back that slide? What was it showing? This guy?
Yes, we're he has no choice. our content's so magnetic, we're just...
that's magnetic. Okay.
Yes.
What did you think it was?
I thought it's like a rubber.
Yeah, that was my first guess actually.
Oh, I remember.
What actually you do in Twitter?
In Twitter, so we decided that, well, Twitter doesn't really bring that many leads. So we decided that social media is more of a vanity metric for us. So it's not a lead generator, because lead generator is for Ilona and Iryna. LinkedIn works for direct communication. For something indirect, they don't really go well with that. So, but if you go into any website, it will show that if one decides to whether to work with us, they will click every social media and will check us. This means they are checking whether our brand is consistent, and whether they are checking for whether our white people and whether are smiling, happy, are in the closet, hidden somewhere, typing out, like working. They are checking, and we have to be consistent and showing that there is life in kinetics. And we're trying to post one post at a day. This is a minimum for Twitter because it's very active. 1, 2, and this is basically to show like this, emanate this brand thing.
Why Twitter? Why not Facebook?
Facebook is more of an entertainment social media. People don't really subscribe to serious information. That's basically our main theory at this point. Same goes for Instagram.
You talk about European people?
Yes.
And also, if I may add, Facebook and Instagram, they are more relevant for B2C companies, where businesses reach to customers. They have to sell something to customers directly. And as we reach to businesses, we are B2B company. Twitter and LinkedIn are more relevant in this case.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, questions?
Can I move?
Yes.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. During the whole previous year, and especially in the first 2 or 3 months working here, I have heard a lot of questions. I and Iryna heard a lot of questions of what are you doing here? What are your responsibilities? Why do we need you here? And so on and so forth. And now we are going to have a closer look at our responsibilities and duties. Of the channels mentioned by Oleh above are the channels of inbound customers, clients, and etc. However, most of our clients are outbound clients and outbound leads, and we have 2 major channels of outbound leads. It's LinkedIn and Upwork, as you all know. LinkedIn is a professional website where all professionals can meet each other, can share their knowledge, and talk, maybe not in person, however, online. What about Upwork? Upwork is a great channel to find more clients, more projects, and more possibilities. Well, the main difference between LinkedIn and Upwork is that on LinkedIn we contact with personas, we contact with customers. However, on Upwork we choose our projects which seem to be interesting to us, which match our tech stack, and etc. Well, how do we engage with our prospects, and how do we grab their attention to kinetics? Well, Oleh has also mentioned that we should know our personas. So on LinkedIn nowadays we are targeting Dutch market, as Max is going to visit Netherlands again. And in order to make the campaign on the Netherlands, we have conducted a global research on the needs of our potential clients, and we have think on solutions which we can offer them, and we should show our potential leads what will they get from working with us. For example, we are targeting education management, and a lot of people may say, I don't need your services, I have our own website and that's all. However, we can offer them, have you ever considered building an app, mobile app, or do you need a chatbot? It's a great solution for your business right now. We should show that we are interested in working with them, and we have a lot of ideas for their business. Well, as I mentioned about, we are now working on the roadshow of Max to the Netherlands, and we are contacting business domains like education management and management consulting. These business domains seems promising for us, as according to the latest trends, because we have nowadays a lot of digital transformation, self-development, and so on and so forth. And I want to show you the results. Numbers are pretty strange here. You should understand that we have already arranged 17 meetings and 10 calls. However, it seems not like too much work. However, I have contacted with more than 1,200 persons, and just half of them, half of them accepted our invitation, and they almost everyone is telling that it's vacation period, and I don't know, I don't want your services right now, but maybe in the future. I don't know, I don't understand what are you offering me, and so on and so forth. However, these all contacts are put it into our CRM, and in a while, for example, starting from September, we are going to follow them up, and maybe in the future, from these potential leads, prospects, we will get to our clients.
I'm not sure that it's flywheel. It's basically just statistics.
The statistics.
You mentioned marketing funnel, and the other one was.
It's a flywheel.
Yeah.
That's a difference. It was already placed for the
Well, the result of the LinkedIn campaign will be such kind of event marketing, as Max is going to visit conferences, seminars, and as I mentioned about, he will have a lot of meetings in the Netherlands. So, event marketing is one of the most important, I can say, most important part of our sales team, and it's a great way to strengthen our relationships with existing clients as well as potential leads and potential clients. And Max, I should mention that Max is not just meeting with our potential clients, however, he will meet our hot leads and our existing clients right now. So the results of the of visiting conferences and seminars, I can say that we will have a lot of results of the conferences and seminars, because Max will also meet a lot of interesting people who will potentially may become our clients, and he will get their business cards, and after coming home he will get these business cards to us, and we will contact with these persons, and maybe in the future we will have our hot leads and hot clients. And I can say that do you remember the last visit to London? Max was visiting London in November with Madonna, and on Tuesday we will have a call with a lead from one conference, and he just appeared
Out of nowhere.
out of nowhere, yeah, because we were following him up on CRM, on LinkedIn during the winter period, and he wasn't answering, and this previous week he answered, and he just interested in working with us.
Awesome.
Well, let's move to Upwork. Upwork is a little bit strange website, I can say, because yeah, it works completely different from LinkedIn. And my work on Upwork is like I'm from dozens and thousands of bids of proposals. I'm looking for the most relevant one. These bits which match our tech stack, which budget is not too low, maybe it may be higher than we want, but not lower. The lines of the projects, we don't work with project which is just for 1 week. We also pay attention on hourly rate, on the project description, country. We don't want to work with Indian people, with South Africa and so on and so forth. And what is the most important, we pay attention on feedbacks, because everything may seem super class, however, feedbacks are bad. What's going on? What's wrong with this client? We may see that this client the communication with this client was bad. He was the channel of communication was bad. He couldn't explain what he or she want, and so on and so forth. Well. Even if the project seems like very interesting for us, and I have bid on this project, and the person replies that he or she is interested in working with us, there may be a lot of occasions of unexpected moments. We can see that in the job description. We could see that the person is from the United States. He is in his description. He is running a great business, and he is ready to pay us higher rates. However, on the first call, during the first meeting, we can see that it is just a person from India, and he is not ready to pay our hourly rates, and we just do not work with such people because they can not cover our needs, our hourly rate, and we do not understand what they are talking about.
Yeah, they're very difficult to fetch the requirements from, and we had bad experience.
With India, yeah. So, and here you can see more and more numbers. This is the results of the work during previous 2 weeks, and I have bid on 31 projects, which seemed very interesting for us. However, just 8 of them answered on my bid, and 2 calls were organized.
Is it my turn?
Yeah. And after calls are organized, Ira takes everything in her hands and is doing her best to make that date our happy client. Any questions?
Yeah, actually, from not a salesperson, what is the difference between inbound and outbound leads?
Inbound is this inbound leads come to us from a website. They have read our story, our article, and they are interested in working with us. However, outbound, we are interested in working with them. We get in touch with them and grab their attention with our company, with our services, offers, and figures.
Okay, so any questions to Ilona? Other questions?
Nope.
Okay, so that's the part where I step in, and my goal here and my part of the presentation is aimed at like defining engagement management for you, in defining sales pipeline for you, because we may have heard these terms and these definitions a lot, but we may not understand how are they connected and what do they mean for us, as it is a pretty new concept at Kinetics. Basically, engagement manager or engagement management is responsible for guiding a lead through the sales pipeline, engaging it, and the final goal and the final step is closing the deal and generating the proposal. Then summing up everything that we have already heard about leads and sales and marketing, we have a sales cycle. It overlaps with the marketing one because it also has awareness and interest, but it's more specific. Though this one that I have presented to you is a bit high level, but I just want you to understand what are the main stages that a lead goes tool. So the first one is prospecting, and it's a part that Ilona takes responsibility for. We will discuss all these stages. How we will discuss these stages. As explaining it to you may be difficult to understand, I've decided to tell a story of one customer. And because of NDA, GDPR, and stuff like that, we've changed his name. So his name is now Chandler, and I'm going to tell you how did we close the deal with Chandler.
Is it real content? You also changed his.
No, GDPR, I told you. It's a privacy policy and we've changed everything. Yeah, so the first stage is prospecting that Ilona is responsible for. From our side, we identify potential customers. Those are our personas. You've heard about them a lot today. Then we search for them. We use different tools that are a LinkedIn Sales Navigator that help us to kind of narrow all these prospects and target in the right direction. Then we grab their attention with the first message, with the so-called personal note when we reach out to them, when we connect to them. And we present our services at the initial stage. We present ourselves. And our lead is like, they reached out to me. I'm wondering what is it all about? Let me look through their website. Let me take a look at the content that they post. Maybe it can be interesting for me. Then the next stage, when a lead is interested, he or she has asked a few clarification questions. He or she understands that there may be some touch points, some possibilities, and he or she, in our case Chandler, agrees to have an initial meeting or a call where we qualify whether he can buy, whether he is our potential partner. So we choose a communication channel, we establish this contact, we pitch our services, we present ourselves, and we find out if a lead is in a position to make decisions or purchase. Of course, we may reach out to people who are not right for us, and it's the stage where we understand that those people are not relevant. And I think the initial meeting and call, they are very important, so I will talk about them in detail in a while. At this point, Chandler is like, that may be interesting for me. Let me see what they have to offer. Let me see what is their solution, what is their proposition. Then it may be project requirements, it may be a request to an estimate, it may be just a rough idea of a project. We have to understand these requirements. We have to gather what does he want from us, and make a presentation. It can be an estimate, once again, it can be a proposal. At this point, we just offer our solution. We present what we have to offer, and we justify our suggestions. We tell, okay, it's like 50 hours for front-end development and something, and etc. And at this point, usually a lead is like, what do you mean a lot of hours? I haven't seen it coming. He does not agree with our presentation. He may not understand our proposition, and we have to deal with the objections and negotiate the conditions. So we ask clarification questions, we understand what are the deeper needs maybe, and we reframe and we change our solution. We present something else. Okay, it may not be 100 hours, let's do it 70. We can justify that, and we reframe our pitch. At this point, a lead understands, yeah, these guys know exactly what I want. They took a deep dive into my needs. They understood what my business is. They understood what's the value, and I trust them. They are just perfect. Let us close the deal with them. So at this point, it's more formal. We close the deal. We agree. We already agreed on the conditions, but we get the paperwork done. And we, at this point, it's very important to ask for referrals. So as we haven't started working with the client, he or she is like super happy, satisfied. So let's ask him whether he has some friends or maybe like industry peers that are interested in our services. And most likely he will have somebody to refer to, just because we are at a very like great stage of our partnership and our relationships at this point. Yeah, he's super happy dancing, doing the Chandler dance. I've already told you that I believe initial meeting and call are pretty important. You cannot neglect the importance of first impression that you do. And for me, it does not only include the call or the meeting itself, but it also has a lot of like back office work. At first, you have to understand and be aware of cultural differences of different people. So Ilona already told you that we are currently targeting the Dutch market. And I already had 2 cases where people were like super straightforward to me. During the call, they were like, you know, I have this issue in my personal life, and they were super sincere and they were telling me these stories and I didn't know how to react. So that I was not prepared that they are so straightforward. But now I understand and I am aware of these cultural differences. This can be even the pace of their talk. This can be the way they present information, whether they are ready to say no or whether they are like super excited and enthusiastic. You have to be aware of that. The second point is doing your homework. So it's basically me and a lot of stuff flying around me when I prepare for a call, because I have to do a research on a lead that I have a call or a meeting with. I research on his background, whether he is a technical person or whether he is more like an enterprise Eric, or enterprise Eric is technical, but then decision Dave is not technical. I have to research the market, what are the current trends on the market, and maybe there was a recent like law regulation that changed something in the way they do business. So we have to be aware of that. We can even look through their like social networks. We can Google them to understand their pains and the challenges that they face. And this also an important thing is preparing an initial value proposition. I will tell you in a bit what's value proposition, but you have to understand that before conducting a call or a meeting, you already have to have some ideas in mind. What I can offer him, what's the value of our further engagement. During the first call, you are building rapport and respect. You did your homework, you understand the background of a guy, you can like find some even not formal, some personal touch points. He's sitting and you see a beautiful picture behind him, so you're asking like, what was that? Are you collecting those pictures? And that's how you like build more informal relationships with a person. And there are a lot of other like tricks, but I will not stop on them at this point. We should just understand that our goal at the initial meeting and call is to build rapport and respect, and also find touch points. So when conducting a call or meeting, you may think, oh, he has a project for me. That's a great project for over 2 years of development, and we will have a great team. But that's not usually the case. There may be some other cases where we can partner up. Maybe it's just a great networking person. Maybe I will get to know him and he will refer me to others. Maybe I can just ask him for an industry insights. So not consider people just as a bag of money. They will like put on your table and say, take it and do whatever you want. So that's my demonstration of initial call and meeting and getting ready to initial call and meeting. It may be like super short. It may take 15 minutes, but then I've done some stuff and some back. I've researched the background to be ready to conduct this call successfully. And that's something I'm working on and trying to achieve. Then value proposition. It's a term that is usually commonly used on an engagement stage, because value proposition is basically the value that we have to offer to our customer. It's something that we deliver as a solution to him or her. When we deliver our value proposition or story, because as Oleh has mentioned, stories are quite popular. Like we suddenly realize that people love stories and they perceive everything in terms of stories. So we can deliver it even as a story. We have to understand a few things. First one is sticking to the what's in it principle. So your lead sitting in front of you is always asking himself or herself, what's in it? Does it have any value for me? How it will help my business? How it will add value to my business? How it will add value to my life? Even thinking globally. And you should always keep asking yourself the same questions and understand that a lead is going through this process, is asking himself or herself these questions. As you have prepared your value proposition before the call or the meeting, you should understand that it's basically a living, breathing organism. It can change. You ask questions and you understand that the solution that you prepared is not right, and I will adjust it. I will change it. I will offer him or her something else. So it's like super flexible. It can be like something. It can be one at the beginning and something else at the end. And we should stay consultative. Again, asking yourself, what's the value that I give? How can I help this particular person? And these points they are combined into concepts that we are trying to follow right now, which is solution selling and customer centricity. So we sell solutions and we are super customer centric, or we are trying to be. Then a few practical advice that I have, pieces of advice that I have for you, because I understand that you may be a bit tired at this point of the presentation, and I want to give you some practical value. As you communicate, most of you communicate with the customers a lot, you may face difficulties like building this rapport and building respect that I've mentioned. So I have a few tips. First one is making sure that you define expectations and roles. Whenever you talk with the customer, be sure to set boundaries. Like, I am engagement manager. I am responsible for this, and that. I'm not responsible for like bringing you coffee in the morning. You should understand what are my roles and what are my responsibilities. And the same for you. I'm a designer. I'm a UX designer. I'm responsible for the best user experience. For the best user experience on your website. I'm not responsible for drawing pictures. I'm not responsible for drawing posters. It's super important to define what are your expectations and roles, not to overcome these boundaries and not to reach a misunderstanding at the end. When it's possible, include a visual communication. People like visuals. They usually are visuals. When you have to present something, you can just like do a quick sketch or a few graphs, or as Ilona did, she presented it like some numbers and statistics in graphs, and I am sure that it was like you understood it better just because it was presented visually. Then avoid assumptions. So assumptions are bad because they also bring miscommunication. They bring misunderstanding. When a person in front of you is telling you something, and you have got a thought at the back of your mind, you have to re-ask. Be brave to ask questions and to avoid assumptions. I will give you an example to understand what I mean. Again, a designer. So, for example, Oksana is talking with a customer. She presents him or her her version of the website, her mock-up. And a person at the other side is looking at this mock-up and saying, I don't like that color. That color doesn't seem like very attractive. And Oksana's assumption is, I should change the color. I should change the whole color palette that I used on this website. But then she was not brave enough to ask, and a person at the other side may have just was thinking out loud and didn't really want to change all the colors. Maybe he wanted to change just this color, or maybe he was...
Bad mood.
Yeah,
Something
like he
like
had a
that.
bad mood, or it was just his first impression, and then he took a look at this website once again, and this color doesn't seem so bad at the second thought, like the second time, yeah, yeah. So avoid assumptions. And the last is discuss further commitment and next steps. When we have a meeting or a call, it usually comes to an end. It always comes to an end. And we have to understand what we have to do after the meeting or a call. So you've discussed some things, like Oksana discussed this mock-up website with her customer, and at the end of the call, be straightforward and tell, okay, my next steps are, I changed the color palette, I send you the second version, we confirm the second version, and from your side you have to give me your expectations, give me some colors that you like, so define what are the next steps, because you may like, I don't like the color, and Oksana like, yeah, okay, let's just skip that and go further, goodbye, and yeah, you have to understand what are the next steps. And the last slide from me is another important part of a sales cycle, which is lead nurturing. So leads, they go through this whole pipeline, they move from awareness to interest, from prospecting to initial qualification and stuff like that, but they may disappear at any point of this pipeline. They may not respond to our messages, they may not get back to us, and our goal here is not to forget about them, is to follow them up, to send them some relevant stuff, to keep them engaged, to engage with them, because we do understand and we do remember that business development is a marathon, and it's patient and steady who win the race here. So you have to be patient enough to understand that this lead or this prospect may turn out to be super successful project in maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, maybe in a week. Yeah, that's basically everything from my side. And the goal is to reach success. Maybe you have any questions.
No questions? Another question?
Ooh, okay, thank you.